Greetings and welcome to the Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team video, where today I'm going over the Stealth Suit Kill Team for Kill Team. But before we get into things, thanks goes to Games Workshop for providing this to review for free. As always, I aim to be honest, impartial and constructively critical. But please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video. What do you think of the Stealth Suit Kill Team? And remember, I've got a Discord you can check out for free in the episode description below, and a link at Element Games, and a link at discount code at Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. But let's get on with today's video. So for the XV26 Stealth Battlesuits roster, they have the archetypes of infiltration and recon, which is a very strong combination to have at the moment. And they are a 7 operative kill team. So you have your Shazray with either a burst cannon or fusion blaster. Then you've got a marker drone, gun drone, and then 4 more operatives, which can either be the designator, infiltrator, liberator, lodestar, or neutralizer. And then other than your infiltrator operatives, you can only include 1 of each operative. And then when it comes to kill team selection, you can only have a maximum of 2 fusion blasters on your kill team. So any operative can have a fusion blaster, but only 2 can out of the 7, well, out of your 5 stealth battlesuits. So I'll get on to who should have the melter later, but otherwise you've got a very simplistic roster, which basically makes this a 1-box kill team. Going on to your faction rules, you have Kaon. So whenever a friendly battlesuit operative is shooting an enemy operative, its ranged weapons have the accurate X weapon rule, and it is determined by that enemy operative's location. So if they're within 3 inches of your territory, you gain accurate 1. If they're within your territory, you gain accurate 2, and if they're within 3 inches of your drop zone, you get the legendary accurate 3. Yes, we finally have accurate 3, and it's just specifically for the stealth suits, which is kind of neat. And then you've got stealth fields. So whenever a friendly stealth battlesuit operative has a conceal order, it's not visible to enemy operatives more than 3 inches from it, taking precedence over all other rules. Whenever a friendly battlesuit operative has a conceal order, it can perform the fallback action for 1 less action point. So you have a lot of utility there. So effectively, if someone wants to shoot you, they always have to be within 3 inches of you minimum, which if you're on a conceal order, which means you can actually run out in the open on conceal, which is very cool. And because you don't count as being visible, it gets around a lot of stuff that works on visibility, which is very powerful. And then stacked with Kaon, you're kind of encouraged to play a bit defensively and not too aggressively, which does kind of suit how the kill team plays overall. First strategy ploys, you have Patient Hunters. Whenever a friendly stealth battlesuit operative is shooting against or fighting against an expended enemy operative, that friendly operative's weapons have the balanced weapon rule, and its ranged weapons have the saturate weapon rule. So it also applies in melee, which is good, but it's a nice way. It's more for expended operatives, so it struggles. It's not really great into operatives who out-activate you, like teams who do that. Otherwise, it's a decent strategy ploy. Then you have Bonds of Unity. Whenever a friendly operative is activated, excluding drones, and it's visible to and within 6 inches of another friendly operative, excluding drones, you can ignore any modifiers to that first friendly operative's APL stat and select one of the following. Ignore any changes to that friendly operative's move stat from being injured until the end of that activation, or ignore any changes to its hit stat of the first friendly operative's weapons from being injured until the end of that activation. So you have a very balanced way of how to get around being injured, but you don't get both options. You get either to ignore your movement penalty or hit modifier, which is fine. I think you probably could have combined both, but it's a nice, more balanced approach. Something you're probably playing turning point 3 or 4, so much later in the game. Then you've got Prepare Ambush. Place one of your ambush markers wholly within your territory and more than 2 inches from enemy operatives. Whenever a friendly battlesuit operative is shooting an enemy operative that is within 2 inches of that marker, you can use this rule. If you do, remove that marker and that friendly operative's ranged weapons have the seek weapon rule until the end of the action. In the ready step of the next strategy phase, that if that marker is still in the kill zone, remove that marker. So the way this basically works is you kind of want to put it on the middle objective, right? And then if your opponent ever moves into it, one operative can then cash that in to gain seek when they shoot. Now it is quite hard to use, and it's very difficult to use in my opinion, but it does provide a very powerful effect. And as I said, the most common way you're going to use this is placing this on the middle objective. The other issue is if that operative survives and then you go into the next turning point and they're like covering the whole objective, you now can't use it to zone your objective, but you can also use it defensively to cover your own objective if your opponent is playing very aggressively. So it's a very defensive ploy, but something you can use to zone your opponent away from like key choke points as well as objectives. Then you've got hollow wave countermeasures. Whenever a friendly operative is shooting a battlesuit operative more than 6 inches from it, in the roll attack dice step, the attacker must discard one of their unresolved normal successes or one of their critical successes if there are none, in terms of no normals. This isn't cumulative with being obscured. So effectively, this is a worse obscured, which is fine, right? It does cost a CP. I think it'd probably be too powerful if it did just make you count as obscured. But the other neat thing, a lot of shooting teams have ways to ignore obscuring. This actually overrides that. So what you can do is like basically make yourself obscured and then also play hollow wave countermeasures, which is really useful into stuff like Death Watch. You can get around ignoring obscurity, which basically means you always win the shooting like matchup. So even though it does seem weaker, it's actually very, very good. Then for firefight ploys, you've got vectored retro thrusters. So use this firefight ploy when an enemy operative ends the charge action within control range of a friendly battlesuit operative, excluding drones. Interrupt that action to use this rule. If you do, that friendly operative can immediately perform a free fallback action, but it cannot move more than 3 inches during that action. Then that enemy operative can immediately perform a free reposition action using any remaining move distance it had from that first charge action, and can do so even if it's performed an action that prevents it from performing the reposition action. So effectively for a command point, you just deny someone charging you, which is very powerful. So you have ways to just kite the opponent quite reliably, and you know, especially if they have like still some action points left, they could charge, reposition to follow you up and then shoot you. But if you've zoned out your opponent really well, you can just kind of leave them in the open. Then you've got Ghost Shroud. Use this firefight ploy at the end of a friendly operative's activation. If that operative has an engage order, change it to conceal. You cannot use this ploy for each friendly operative more than once per battle. So you don't have it as an action, but you can spend a command point to do it, which is very powerful because now it just doesn't cost an action point, it just costs a command point. So you can like move, shoot, and then flip back to conceal, which is very useful. Then you've got Engage Jetpack. Use this firefight ploy when a friendly battlesuit operative excluding drone is activated or counteracts. Until the end of that activation or counteraction, you can ignore the vertical distance they move during one climb and one drop. So basically for a CP you gain fly. People may not think this is too powerful, but it means you can reposition. So you can use this to climb, basically go infinitely high up a vantage point, and then you can also dash off. So you can reposition, then dash off with the benefits of fly. It's only for one activation or counteraction, but still very useful, especially on counteracts, because you can do stuff like just teleport up a building and stuff. Very, very powerful. And then finally, you have Savior Protocols. Use this firefight ploy when a friendly battlesuit operative excluding drone is selected as a valid target. Select one friendly drone operative that's visible, and within 3 inches of this friendly operative, they become the valid target instead, even if it normally wouldn't be a valid target, and has no effect against blast or torrent. So just get down, Mr. President, with drones, which is pretty useful, but it does only work against shooting. It doesn't work against close combat, which means that you have to be careful. It's another anti-shooting technique, like anti-shooting tool, so good into shooting teams, but otherwise it's a useful piece of tech to have. For operatives, first off we have your leader, your Chazvery. So it has a free APL, 6-inch move, free up save, and 13 wounds, which is the standard profile for your kill team. Everyone has free APL and a free up save. Everyone else has 12 wounds, your leader has 13. So I'll list the weapons because they're all the same. So you have the burst cannon focus, which is 5 attacks, 8 on 4s, 3-4 ceaseless. The sweeping profile, which is 4 attacks, 8 on 4s, 3-4 ceaseless, torrent 1. Then you have the Fusion Blaster, which is short range, 4 attacks, 8 on 4s, 6 free damage, range 6, dev 4, piercing 2, and then the Fusion Blaster long range, which is 4 attacks, 8 on 4s, 4-5, range 12, piercing 1. Then you have a Pulse Pistol, which is ranged, 4 attacks, 8 on 4s, 4-5, range 8, and then Point Blank, which is 3 attacks, 8 on 4s, 4-5, accurate 1. So you have the drone controller, Strategic Gambit. Whenever this operative is in the kill zone, select one friendly drone operative in the kill zone. Until the end of that operative's next activation, ignore the first 2 bullet points of its drone rule, and this takes precedence over that rule. So you can basically make your drones act as normal, which is very cool. Then you've got for the greater good. When determining the value of accurate X for the K-On faction rule, if this operative is in the kill zone, add 1 to the result if 2 more friendly battlesuit operatives, excluding drones, are incapacitated to a maximum of accurate 3. Note that you must have a minimum of accurate 1 to use this rule. So I don't know if they mean accurate 1 as in accurate 1 from K-On, or accurate 1 from like being on vantage. But regardless, it's still a nice way. It means you want to keep your leader alive, and it's good for like end game kind of abilities. So once you've lost 2 or more like stealth suits, not drones, your team will basically be accurate 2. Well, accurate 3 when they're shooting, which is very good. Also, everyone is on a 32mm base, apart from your drones, which are 28. Then you have the Designator, and it has fists, which are free attacks in on force 3/4. It's got the marker light ability, so whenever an enemy operative is a valid target for this operative, or is visible to this operative and within 2 inches of the ambush marker, it is marked. Whenever a friendly operative is shooting an operative that's marked, that friendly operative's ranged weapons have the severe weapon rule. Note that an operative can be a valid target for this operative, even if this operative isn't the active operative. So you really want to keep the Designator alive, and it can grant other friendly operatives basically severe. But this is the operative you always give the Fusion Blaster to, because whenever it's shooting someone, they're going to be a valid target, which means its Fusion Blaster is always going to have severe. So always give the Designator the Fusion Blaster, and yeah, it's just very good to take. Because like you can reposition, dash, get within 2 of someone, they're a valid target, now you have a severe Fusion Blaster. Amazing. Then you've got your Infiltrator, your basic warrior. Its special ability is Covert Protocols. This operative can counteract regardless of its order, but if it has a conceal order during that counteraction, it cannot perform any actions other than the pickup marker or place marker or mission markers. So this is your generic warrior. It's okay. I don't think you ever take it, unfortunately. If it just like could do anything on like counteract with regardless of order, that would be great. But otherwise, it's just kind of eh. Then you've got your Liberator, who has a burst cannon or fusion blaster and fists, but also has the EMP bomb, which is 5 attacks, 8 non-freeze, 2/2 damage, ranged 4, blast 2, devastating 1, heavy reposition, lethal 4-up, limited 1, and saturate. And then it's got the Grenadier ability. This operative can use frag, crack, smoke, and stun grenades, see universal equipment. Doing so doesn't count towards any limited uses, and whenever you use a frag or crack grenade, improve the hit stat by 1. So very, very cool, like always auto take because it's just got a crack set hit on freeze, which is funny because it hits better than using them normally, but otherwise very, very useful as an operative. Then you've got your Lone Star? No, it's Lodestar. So it's got burst cannon, fusion blaster, or fists. Then it's got the Electro Chaff launcher. Once per turning point, when an enemy operative has performed the shoot action and your opponent selects a valid target excluding drone, you can use this rule, providing this operative isn't within control range of enemy operatives. If you do, until the end of the action, whenever an enemy operative is shooting a friendly stealth battlesuit operative that's both visible and within 3 of this operative, and more than 2 inches from the enemy operative, ignore the piercing weapon rule and that friendly operative is obscured. So this is very powerful, especially with the changes to obscured. Basically more tools for winning the shooting game. So unless an enemy operative is shooting directly the Lodestar within 2, or you're not within 2 when you're shooting, once per turning point, someone's going to be ignoring piercing and obscured, which is very strong. Then you've got homing beacon. This operative is carrying your homing beacon marker. Operatives, excluding the drones, can perform the pickup marker action on that marker. The first time an enemy operative performs the pickup marker action on your homing beacon marker, discard that marker, so remove it from the battle. So if your opponent picks it up, it's destroyed. In the ready step of each strategy phase, when you gain command points, if your homing beacon marker is in the kill zone, roll 1d6. If it's more than 6 inches from your drop zone, roll 2d6 instead. If it's within your opponent's territory, roll 3d6 instead if it's within 6 inches of your opponent's drop zone. If any result is a 4-up, you gain 1 additional CP. So because you're already carrying it when you're deployed, in turning point 1, you roll a d6. On a 4-up, you get a command point. From turning point 2 onwards, if you're more than 6 inches from your drop zone, you roll 2d6. Or if you are within 6 inches of your opponent's drop zone, if you've been very brave, then you roll 3d6. And you basically have the ability to get 1 command point a turn, which is very useful because this team is very command point intensive. So it's some nice balanced generation. Basically, the closer you are to your opponent, the more likely you are to generate that free command point. Then you've got the Neutralizer, who can also have burst cannon, fusion blaster, or fists. Then it's got the multi-spectrum sensor package. As a support action, once per turning point, when an enemy operative visible to and within 8 inches of this operative is activated, you can use this rule. If you do, each friendly operative within 3 inches of this operative can immediately do one of the following: perform a free dash or change its order. Each friendly operative that performs a dash action cannot end that move within 3 inches of an enemy operative. Note that a comms device from a universal equipment only affects the second distance of this rule. So it's basically if your opponent is, let's say, you know, 7 inches, within 7 inches of you, they activate, you can immediately pop this to dash everyone out of their charge range. So you, or like if they're going to reposition and shoot, like they're going to go reposition, if you've played all on engage, you can now flip everyone back to conceal. Very, very useful. Then you've got system jam. It's either 1 action point or 2 action point. Select one enemy operative visible to this operative until the end of the operative's next activation, subtract 1 from their APL stat. Whenever this operative has a conceal order, you must spend 1 additional action point to perform this action, and you cannot perform it while in control range. So basically, you can do it while on conceal, it's just going to cost you 2 action points, which is very useful. Turning point 1, like you just reposition and then system jam someone. But otherwise, your neutralizer is very powerful. Then you've got your marker drone, who's 2 APL, 6-inch move, 4 up save, and 7 wounds. This is your standard drone profile. It's got the ram attack, which is 3 attacks, hit on 5s, 2 free. It's got the drone rule, so the first bullet point, it cannot perform any other actions other than charge, dash, fall back, fight, reposition, and shoot. And whenever determining controls for an objective marker, you treat its APL stat as 1 lower. And then this operative cannot use weapons that aren't on its data card, and you use the disc for visibility, and it's ignored for your opponent's kill op / elimination op, whenever it's incapacitated, and when determining your starting number of operatives. So it's expendable, but not exactly expendable. This seems like a more intelligently designed expendable. Obviously, whoever designed this kill team realized expendable is a very broad term which has lots of complications, and just making simply drones don't count towards the kill op is a much better way of, you know, doing expendable. I can see this happening going forward. So they still count for your opponent's tac ops, right? But it doesn't count for the kill op. So like they can kill it and it can drop markers and stuff, but it won't count towards the kill op, which is good. It's not as good as expendable, but it's more balanced. And then you've got the markerize ability. Whenever an enemy operative is a valid target for this operative or visible to this operative and within 2 inches of your ambush marker, it's marked. Whenever a friendly battlesuit is shooting an operative that's marked, their ranged weapons have the severe weapon rule, and note, an operative can be a valid target for this operative even if that marker drone isn't the active operative. So it's all right. Generally, what you're going to use the marker drone is it's going to like turning point 1, scoot onto the middle objective, and then turning point 2, it's going to go, I have feelings, I am alive, I'm going to boop the point master and then explode, right? You're not really going to get much use out of the marker light action, sadly, but it's just great for your leader to control and like do suicidal mission actions. Then you've got the gun drone, who has twin pulse carbine, so it's 4 attacks, hit on 4s, 4, 5 ceaseless. And then it's also got the standard drone rules as well as photon grenade launcher. So select 1 enemy operative visible to this operative and roll 1d6. On a free up until the end of the operative's next activation, subtract 2 from their move stat, and you cannot perform this while within control range of an enemy operative. So this is a slight buff to the gun drone. It's still very useful. Like generally you're going to use this turning point 1. Like you reposition the gun drone and then try and photon grenade someone. And even turning point 2, if you're still playing cagey, you can do that again. But generally, turning point 2 onwards, the gun drone is going to reposition and twin pulse carbine someone and keep doing so until it dies. But otherwise, very useful. And it also is ignored for the kill op. Then for faction equipment, you've got hardwired target locks. Whenever you would counteract, you can do so with 1 friendly battlesuit operative that has a conceal order and is more than 3 inches from enemy operatives. But before it counteracts, you must change its order to engage, and it cannot perform any other actions other than the shoot during that counteraction. So this is something you will always take, because especially if you do a last activation, then next turning point, if you've got your chaff launcher nearby, you can basically just, well, you know your neutralizer, you can switch back to engage, but it's just a nice way to make your opponent respect you. Then you've got XV26 multi-trackers. Once per turning point, when a friendly battlesuit operative is performing the shoot action and you select a burst cannon sweeping profile, you can use this rule. If you do until the end of that action, that weapon has the torrent 2 weapon rule. This is okay, but I would only use it into horde teams. So if you're playing someone with like 10 or more likely 11 or more operatives, this is actually pretty good because all of a sudden you can go surprise, torrent 2. It's only 4 dice, but it's still better than nothing. Then you've got counter network jammers. Whenever determining control of a marker, treat the total APL stat of enemy operatives that contest it as 1 lower, only if only 1 friendly battlesuit operative and only 2 enemy operatives contest it. That friendly stealth battlesuit operative cannot be a drone operative. Note this isn't a change to its APL stat, so any changes are cumulative. So unfortunately you never take counter network jammers, it's just way too specific. It's basically like if you're into like 2 APL teams, all of a sudden it basically means you tie that objective. They need a third operative to break the tie, which is fine, but way too situational. Then you've got an advanced black sun filters. Whenever a friendly battlesuit operative is shooting an operative that's obscured, you don't have to discard one success as well. That rule, all other effects of obscured apply as normal. So effectively, you still downgrade your crits, but you don't discard any hits, which is still very, very good. I kind of think it would have been fine to say you ignore obscuring, but if you look at the design as a whole of this kill team, they've gone with a more restrained approach, which is fine. Like if you wanted to buff that, you can just make that ignore obscuring. But otherwise, I would always take hardwired target locks and advanced black sun filters. And then if you're into hordes, I would take multi-trackers. I would never take counter network jammers, I'm afraid. And then you've got the designer's commentary, which talks you through the kill team, how you should play it, and all their themes and all that kind of stuff, which is nice. They continue to add this addition to the game. Now for kill team selection and collection, this is a one box kill team, which is very good. Like you only need one box and you are fully ready to play this kill team. Now in the box you get 2 fusion blasters and 5 burst cannons, and they are pretty easy to magnetize. I didn't magnetize them because I'm lazy and I just can't be bothered. I would always give your designator, definitely I would give the fusion gun because it's just better. It's always going to be severe with the fusion gun when shooting. And then personally, I like to give the leader the fusion blaster more as like a late game punish. If you get too close, I am going to fusion blaster you, but also you could do it also to the lodestar or the designator. It basically comes down to you, but always give it to the designator. It's just amazing. But other than that, it's a nice, really easy one box, which is great to see. You don't have many spare bits. It just basically, you can do some different arm poses and stuff. But otherwise, it's a great kill team to collect. So overall for the Stealth Battlesuit kill team, they're a very interesting design kill team. I actually think they're my most favorite designed kill team yet. Like, they are strong, but they're very reined in, which makes them honest because it would have been very easy to break this kill team. Like everyone can double shoot, they all have fly, but instead of doing that, they can use fly once per turning point at the cost of a command point. If you try and charge someone, you can fall back like out of the charge for a command point, so you can only do it once per turning point. You can change someone's order from engage to conceal for free in terms of action points, but it costs a command point. And a lot of this kill team is very reactionary and defensive, and it like basically excels against going against operatives. They out-activate, like, so basically Space Marines. Because the biggest issue, they could have, as I said, easily been very powerful, worked on active operatives and just kind of shot everyone off the board. I like how this kill team is very intelligently designed. Its strengths have a cost. They can't just do them for free. They cost a command point, which also means they can only do them once per turning point instead of being able to do them multiple times a turning point. They have ways to not fully ignore obscuring, but ignore it partly, and then also have ways to grant their own version of obscuring, which is now a buff because so many teams innately ignore obscuring. They do have weaknesses that they all basically hit on 4s when shooting, but they can go up to accurate 3, but that does basically require your opponent coming to you, which can be quite difficult with the approved ops 2025 tac ops, but the crit ops can make this a bit easier. And otherwise, once again, you are another 5 operative kill team for the kill op, which is very funny. It seems like this season, or like this edition, the dev's favorite number's 5. But I really like Stealth Battlesuits. They're balanced. They're very good. Like, I'm enjoying playing them because it's not oppressive. It requires you to play smart, and then your opponent really has to respect you. Like, you have 2 ways to negate charges a turning point. So one for a command point, and then you've got your neutralizers fall back thingy if you've spaced out enough. So you really want to like play very defensively with this kill team, but you can still burst damage. Like if you've lost 2 stealth suits, all of a sudden everyone has accurate 3 if your opponent is within 3 inches of your territory, which they're definitely going to be. And I find this kill team really excels at 6 operative or less kill teams, really messes them up, even to like 8 operative kill teams, because they can because they can just suicide a gun drone into someone, they can easily like break that stalemate. But they do have weaknesses like not being able to double shoot at all. I would have liked that, or at least having the leader hit on freeze, so it's fusion hit on freeze as well as its burst cannon. I think that would have been fine. And there are some stuff like I would just make the equipment just allow the operative to ignore obscuring, but they have enough tricks. I think they have the same problem most shooting teams have, where I don't know how they beat Goremongers and Felgor. That is a very hard matchup for them, because even with all the kiting, you only can do shoot actions once. So it's like you can hope for shoot, then charge and fight, but that's very risky into teams like Goremongers and especially Felgor. There's only so much you can do, which puts this team in a really interesting spot. But as I said, overall, I really like them. I think people are going to be upset that they're not super oppressive and broken, but I think they're really balanced and very fun. Like, they're just really cool. As you can see, I've painted mine up as Farsight Enclaves because Farsight Enclaves are the best, but they're just really cool. I really like this kill team. As I said, it's my most favorite designed kill team in the game. Like, I just like how it's all intelligent. Like, as I said, all these powerful abilities have costs and you can't spam them. If every kill team would like this, like would design like this, we would be in an amazing game. But otherwise, this is really good. And if this design methodology continues, I think we're in for a great addition. Like, if more kill teams are like Battlesuits, Stealth Battlesuits, it will be amazing. But that's pretty much it from me today. Please remember to like and subscribe as well as comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video. Do you like the stealth suits as much as me? Let me know. I'm very interested to hear your feedback. And remember, I've got a Discord you can check out for in the episode description below, an affiliate link at Games, an affiliate link on Discord at Crossfire Games, and a Patreon if you want to give me some more support. And I'm just going to shout my patrons. So for my adepts of the crew, I have Hruddy, Vadim, Alexis, Alex, Marshall, the Houston Toad, Dan, Amorphium, Draken, Fangzu, Lucas, Chris, Graham, Tom, Mr. Meatwad, Dada Goldens, Nick, Super Cow, and then for my veterans of the crew, I have Ramus and Rolling Zeros. So thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me and helps support the channel. But yeah, if you want, I've got the Space Wolf Scouts video as well as my overall review of Dead Silence. You know, you'll find out what I think of the Space Wolves. But as I said, I'm really happy with stealth suits. Like, I think they're probably B tier. I was thinking about A tier. Like, they're really good into elites, especially in this meta. But overall, I think B is safe because they are quite hard to play and they do have some flaws. Like, they destroy elites, but really struggle into teams that out-activate them. But otherwise, they're really fun. And remember, no matter what happens when you follow the greater good, you can always get accurate free and you can always win as long as you can roll a crit.